In this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 dangerous borders. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for future updates. Borders are physical lines dividing regions according to their respective political or legal rights. Countries are divided by international borders. There have always been disagreements resulting from ambiguous and inappropriate boundaries throughout the world. Conflicts have also arisen as a result of regional claims. Borders have historically been particularly hostile and unsafe due to rivalry resulting from such circumstances. To provide protection in emergency situations, forces are kept near the borders. Violence, including shootings, battles, and wars, has claimed a great number of lives. Which borders are currently the most dangerous in the world? Here is a list of the top 10 most hazardous international borders, some of which are very volatile and have significant military presences. Number 10. Saudi Arabia and Yemen. Yemen and Saudi Arabia have an 800 kilometers border, 1,100 miles. The concrete barrier between Saudi Arabia and Yemen is a 10-foot tall fortification. This serves as a security barrier and was constructed in 2003 to thwart infiltration and terrorism. The two countries have experienced border disputes since 2015. The Saudi Arabian military and Houthi rebels engaged in violent combat along the border. Yemeni fighters launched 70 missiles and mortar rounds in 2016, killing more than 10 Saudi soldiers. In 2017, a missile fired by the Houthi rebels with Iranian support hit Riyadh. The border disputes between the two countries have claimed thousands of lives. It is still one of the most perilous frontiers in the entire globe. Number 9. Sudan and South Sudan. From the beginning, the relationship between Sudan and South Sudan has been troubled and weak. The two have been at odds, most famously during the Heglig crisis. Sudan and South Sudan are separated by 1937 kilometers of border. South Sudan gained its independence from Sudan in 2011 before the Heglig crisis. The Second Sudanese Civil War was put an end by a peace pact the two parties signed in 2005. The peace treaty was short-lived. Unfortunately, the Heglig crisis, which occurred in 2012, resulted in a war between the two countries. Millions were made homeless and displaced by the disaster. There were many fatalities. South Sudan entered its own civil war following the crisis in 2013. Due to a number of factors, including previous bloodshed and relations between the two countries, the border region is currently quite unpredictable and dangerous. Number 8. Niger and Chad. Boko Haram, one of the deadliest terrorist groups, is based on the Niger Chad border. Thousands of people have escaped from Niger to Chad out of fear of a Boko Haram invasion. Boko Haram has made the entire region surrounding Niger and Chad insecure and unstable. With 1,196 kilometers of shared border, the two nations. There are some distant, dangerous, and bandit-prone locations outside the limits. The Boko Haram conflict has united the military of Niger and Chad, making the frontier one of the most perilous in the world. Numerous incidents of violence, assault, human trafficking, and banditry occur along the border. Number 7. Iran and Iraq. Iran and Iraq have traditionally had an erratic relationship. Iran has repeatedly demonstrated that Iraq cannot easily invade. Iran is in possession of nuclear weapons, the quantity of which is unclear. The two countries engaged in numerous conflicts. Iran prevailed in every conflict because Iraq was unable to take the necessary territory. Due to boundary disputes, the two nations engaged in war. From the Shatt al-Arab River to the triangular border with Turkey, they are separated by a long 1,458 kilometers border. The 8-year battle between the two countries came to a standstill. The two countries' war claimed the lives of 500,000 soldiers in all. Along the border, there is also unlawful smuggling and smuggling-related violence. After boundary disputes, battles, and human casualties, the two nations agreed to a UN peace treaty. But the argument goes on. Number 6. India and Bangladesh. The fifth longest land border in the world is the 4,156 kilometers, 2,582 miles border that Bangladesh and India share. Since the border is so porous, a lot of illegal activity takes place here. There are very little fences along the border. Combating the illegal export of food, drugs, cattle, and other items to Bangladesh is India's key issue. Illegal migration from Bangladesh to India is another issue that India has to deal with. The contentious shoot-on-sight policy used by the Indian border patrols has resulted in fatalities. There have reportedly been border clashes between the Bangladeshi border guards and the Indian Border Security Force, BSF. There were reports of the BSF killing many Bangladeshis along the Indo-Bangladeshi barrier in 2009, according to news networks. The barrier's primary goal was to thwart cross-border terrorism. The report mentions the deaths of thousands of Bangladeshis in the 21st century. This border is one of the most dangerous in the world due to its high level of volatility and indiscriminate gunshots. Number 5. USA and Mexico. One of the world's most hazardous borders is the one between the USA and Mexico. Simply put, it's because of the US military strength, the hostile terrain, remote deserts, and livable land on the other side of the border. The border stretches 1,954 miles long, 3,145 kilometers. For the US government, illegal border crossings from Mexico into the US have been an issue. This is not the situation today. Security is very tight, and persons migrating illegally are forced to travel via remote areas. Many people have been saved by the Border Patrol team, and they have also found bodies and skeletons throughout the remote areas. The US also intends to construct a wall along the border. The region along the US-Mexico border known as the Rio Grande Valley is regarded as the most hazardous. While the Border Patrol team is focused on battling the drug cartels, illegal smugglers and individuals are allowed to perish. Many hundreds lose their lives trying to cross the border. Since 2007, more than 50,000 individuals have perished in Mexico while attempting to cross the border. The 2011 ranking of the most dangerous border town in the US is El Paso, Texas. Along the US border, two Mexican cities, Tijuana and Ciudad Juarez, have grown to be the most violent in the nation. The most frequent crimes, including homicides, violence caused by weapons and drug cartels, are committed in these two border communities. Number 4. Pakistan and Afghanistan. One of the most dangerous border crossings in the world is that between Pakistan and Afghanistan. The nations are involved in various regional conflicts. The Durand Line, a 1,510-mile border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, is known. The border between the two nations separates the territory of the Pashtun ethnic group. The borders are disputed as a result of this divide. Afghans have historically resisted Pakistani attempts to fence off the Pashtun region. Near the borders, the armies of Afghanistan and Pakistan have launched many attacks. Due to the existence of terrorist groups like the Taliban in the area, Pakistan has cracked down severely on international terrorism, illegal goods smuggling, and arms trafficking. Number 3. Israel and Syria. Due to terrorism and Syria's growing instability, the border between Israel and Syria is perilous. The borders between modern-day Syria and Israel were established by agreement between the United Kingdom and France in 1923. The British Mandate of Palestine and the French Mandate of Syria drew the line. The Golan Heights is the source of the conflict between the two countries. Both nations have claimed ownership of the Golan Heights for many years. With the passage of the Golan Heights Law in 1981, Israel annexed the Golan Heights. This area is regarded by the UN as being occupied by Israel. Both nations are technically at war right now because they have fought numerous conflicts together. There haven't yet been any peaceful outcomes. The conflict has had an impact on many lives and caused deaths. Number 2. North Korea and South Korea. North and South Korea are separated by a 160-mile-long strip. This is the Korean DMZ. Since 1953, in 1953, North Korea, China, and the UN drew the boundary. It's a well-fortified area. The border between the two countries hinders peace talks. The border is a volatile and deadly location. Over 1 million soldiers are stationed here. DMZ casualties are severe. This barrier has live barbed wire, tank mines, active minefields, incursion tunnels, and heavy weapons. The Military Demarcation Line, MDL, is the actual border between the two countries. This is the most dangerous point of the border since anyone crossing will be shot. Both sides have lost hundreds since 1953. Number 1. India and Pakistan. Extreme weather and difficult terrain line the 1,800-mile border between the two nuclear-armed states. Both countries have had a territorial dispute and hostility since 1947, when they earned independence from the British Raj. Many conflicts and disagreements have arisen since India's partition. After the partition, 3 brutal wars killed more than 20,000 people. It's one of the world's most complex boundaries because it includes harsh terrains. India's border may be visible from space because of 150,000 floodlights. Between the two countries, tension is like a live electrical wire. Both sides claim Kashmir as theirs, causing war. They also want a glacier. Kashmir is a militarized region. Both forces have thousands of troops along the border. Both sides have constantly shelled, causing many deaths. India border Pakistan's is the world's most dangerous. What do you think about our video? Let us know in the comment box below. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Thank you.